Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's doing well, doing good. Just wanted to come on here quickly and make a brief, video on patience. Something that God was showing me this week as I was going through my devotions. Basically, I'm making this video because it is important to have patience. Patience is something that we, as people, it doesn't come naturally. We want what we want when we want it. We live in the microwave day and age where we can get things at a snap of a finger. But God doesn't operate that way in terms of giving you whatever it is you want right away. A lot of times we're not ready for the things that we want, and God is taking us through a process of making us whole and mature so that we can handle whatever it is that we want. Rarely do we think as believers that God is ever early. Rarely do we think that he's on time until whatever we're looking for happens, and then we say, God came through right on time. We usually feel like he's going to be late, or that he's taking too long in bringing whatever it is that we want. So I'm going to talk about patience, and I'm going to use Isaac as an example. There are many different characters in the Bible, many different stories that I could use to kind of talk about patience, but I want to talk about Isaac and Rebecca because in the whole idea of patience is that God's timing is perfect. That's what I want you guys to get out of this video, is that God's timing is perfect, and that in our patience we will be rewarded because we waited on the Lord, right? So one verse, it comes from Genesis 24, verse 67. It says, "Then Isaac brought her into the tent of Sarah, his mother, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. So Isaac was comforted after his mother's death." So the reason why I chose Isaac as an example to talk about patience and how God's timing is perfect is because in the context of this story, Isaac is waiting on his wife, Rebecca. And I know as believers, as people, as much as our generation or society is mishandling relationships and marriage at the core, every person, I believe, wants some sort of romantic relationship. There are some people who who are called to be single, but I believe that most people, desire to have some sort of romantic relationship, both in the world and Christians. And so, the thing about being in the world, you can go willy-nilly, find whoever it is you want. I want this girl, I want that girl. The whole idea of, try before you buy, and dating all kinds of women or men to see what it is you like and dislike, and then settling down finally and getting married. We see that doesn't really work with the divorce rates and things of that nature. And then Christians, the divorce rates, unfortunately, are just as bad in, the Christian community, Christian marriages. But let's be real, like a lot of those Christian marriages, may be carnal, if we're being real. Because if you were really saved, if you were really living for God, those numbers in terms of divorce wouldn't be where they are. So I say all that to say, we as people want relationships, and we go out of our way a lot of times to, get in relationships, find somebody to settle down with, get married, and we don't even seek God or have him in the process, right? And the reason why that is because a lot of times we're going to have to wait. A lot of times, if you're being real with yourself, you know, if you're trying to find somebody to get married and you're a believer and you're really like, okay, God, I'm going to give my spouse, my marriage to you, and you don't have you're not married yet. That is tough. That may be a tough journey because you want a godly wife, godly husband, but God is going to make it so that you're godly first. And whoever he has for you is going to make it so that they're godly and then bring you guys together at the right time, right? At his perfect timing. But that may take a while. That's why patience is important. That's why God's timing is perfect, right? So, giving you a context of Isaac and Rebekah, Abraham sent one of his servants out to go back to their homeland to find Isaac a wife, right? Abraham was in Canaan, and he didn't want Isaac to marry a woman who was a Canaanite, right? He wanted somebody who came from where they came from. And so they sent the servant out, and the servant went on that journey, and he finally got back to the homeland, and he prayed. He asked God, show me, who the right woman it will be, and he prayed a prayer, and he had a bunch of camels with him on the journey. He said, when I go to the well to get water, whoever comes and not only brings me water, but all my camels, that will be the woman for Isaac, right? And Rebekah just so happened to fit that criteria. We see that she had a servant heart. There are many takeaways we can take away from this story, right? As believers, I take away that Abraham didn't want his son marrying somebody who wasn't from their home. I look at that and say, I don't want to marry somebody who's not a part of my family in terms of being a believer, being in the family of God. She was a servant. She had a servant's heart, and taking care of the camels, that looking for somebody who has the characteristics of a godly person, a godly man, a godly woman, praying for who that spouse is, right? So all that took place, and Rebekah is coming back with the servant, and she and Isaac finally meet, right? Now, the reason why this story, I'm coming at it in the angle of patience, is that in the chapter prior, Sarah, Isaac's mother, died, right? His mother died. You can imagine if you've lost a parent, how painful that may be, how, you lose somebody who was there with you from the beginning. You lose somebody who took care of you. You lose somebody who raised you. That's a tough loss, right? But in verse 67 of chapter 24 in Genesis, then Isaac brought her into the tent of Sarah his mother, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. So Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. We see that the timing of God was perfect, and when Rebekah came into his life, all the right steps were taken prior in terms of finding somebody who was a believer from the same home as Isaac, praying about the spouse, seeing her qualities, right? And seeing that they match a godly woman, a godly man's qualities. And when he finally took her as his wife, he was comforted after his mother's death. God could have brought Rebekah into Isaac's life when Sarah was alive, but you never know what would have happened if he did that. He brought Rebekah into Isaac's life when his mother had passed, and he had somebody to comfort him and somebody to love that, fit and kind of replaced the things that he lost when his mother died, right? And so as I was reading this passage this week in my devotions, I learned a lot, and I just wanted to come on here and share that God's timing is perfect, and just wait on him. in everything, not just marriage, in different areas of your life, work, you know, all kinds of areas we need to be patient. And so, like I said, I just want to come on here, share this with you. I hope it's something you could take away something from this video. I hope that this video could be encouraging to you in whatever season of waiting you're in. Be patient. Allow God to work in your life. Allow God to work in the situation. Not only is he working in you, but he's working in the situation. For the example of marriage, God's going to work in your life just as he's working in your spouse's life before he brings y'all together. So let him do the work, because the longer we wait, the longer we whine, complain about having to go through the process of allowing God to do the work, the longer we're going to have to wait, you know? So, like I said, I just want to encourage you guys to be patient, wait on the Lord, and allow his perfect timing to take place. And you'll see the results, and you'll be glad that you waited. So, again, please like, comment, share, subscribe if this video impacted you, if this video touched you, encouraged you in any way. And I hope you guys have a blessed week, a blessed day whenever you guys see this video. And, you know, be on the lookout for the next video.